Hey comic book fans, this is Blue Goblin with my special video, and if you can't tell by this, then you obviously don't read Spider-Man. This is my thoughts and my opinions on something that's still under debate even after a year it ended. This is a video of what I thought of Spider-Man's marriage to Mary Jane Watson. And it all started with this. Now, keep in mind, this is strictly opinion. This is strictly my opinion, not anybody else's. You may agree with what I have to say in this video. Then again, you may not agree. If you agree, then that's great. If you don't agree, then that's fine. I respect that. If you don't agree with what I have to say, then don't say anything rude in the comment bar. Otherwise, nobody's going to see what you had to say. So, let's just get right to it. Now, let's rewind the clocks back to, when did I say this took place again? 1987. Shit, was it that long ago? Damn. Okay. Now, I was 4 years old. Me, little Blue Goblin was 4 years old when this book came out. You got to think back then, when I was a kid and I heard that Spider-Man was going to get married, I was like, oh, cool, Spider-Man's getting married. I got to read that. You know, because I've always been a Spider-Man fan. I think I was 3 years old when I started looking at comic books. Back then I was looking at them just for the cool pictures, the wonderful drawings, the action. I could read pretty good back then. You know, I could read okay. Not on an advanced level, but I could read at a 4-year-old's natural pace. You know, I could read the and big, small. You know, I could read simple words like that because I was only 4 at the time. You know, but I've always been a fan of Spider-Man. Always. It's always been my favorite character. But looking back on this book now, I gotta say, it's not as cool as I thought it was back when I was 4. But it's still a good book, and it was still a good run. Was the marriage a good idea? I gotta put it up in the air and say yes and no. Yes, it was a good idea to put it in the comic books, but no for the timing. The timing was bad. Now, Stan Lee had Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson get married in the newspaper strip, which was fine, because at that time they were dating, and the marriage fit in the newspaper strip. And if I'm not mistaken, they're still married in the newspaper strip. If they are or if they are not, somebody let me know, because I quit reading the newspaper strip because I don't read the newspapers anymore. But if I'm right, then they're still married. If I'm not, then somebody let me know. So what Marvel decided to do, I guess they did this to get the readers from the newspaper strip onto the comic book when they decided to go ahead and marry Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson at the exact same time that they did in the newspaper. There's where the problem started. Why? I mean, this should have waited another year, in all honesty. Because looking back on how they got together, it was ridiculous. It was the late 80s. Peter Parker was still wearing the black suit. It wasn't the symbiote. It was the black suit that Felicia Hardy, a.k.a. the Black Cat, had made him. And they had just broken off their relationship. So Peter decides to renew his friendship with Mary Jane Watson again. And it was around issue 280, 289, 290, somewhere around there. Or it was in the 290s somewhere where Peter had decided to propose for the second time to Mary Jane. That's all right, but the way it was led up, it was ridiculous. Peter comes over to Mary Jane's house. He finds out that MJ's got some family problems that she needs to take care of. And before she leaves, he's like, Damn it, Mary Jane, I gotta know. Will you marry me? What? They were just friends at this point in time in the comic books, and he decides to propose marriage to his friend. I'm sorry, but when you ask somebody to marry you, shouldn't they be your girlfriend? Not just your friend? I don't know. I don't know what Marvel was thinking, getting them married at the same time in the comic books as they were in the newspaper. That was a mistake. But was the marriage in general a mistake? No, because from my standpoint, nothing really truly changed in Amazing Spider-Man. Peter Parker was still down on his luck, could barely make any money, had a piss-poor job, had piss-poor luck. Of course, he's always been that way. His luck has hardly ever changed, with one exception. He bagged the hot babe. That was the only thing that really changed, and once they got married, MJ started to get some of the Parker luck. They got evicted from their apartment after the whole Jonathan Caesar fiasco, which I thought was a great story. MJ gets stalked by Jonathan Caesar. She gets kidnapped, and she gets out all by herself without Spider-Man's help. I thought that was great. Flesh out MJ's character even more. I thought that was a great run. I thought that was a great read. And not to mention, she smashed a lamp right into Jonathan Caesar's face. That was badass. I look back on that issue now, and that is badass. But think of all the things that happened during their marriage. Look at all the great stories we got. One of my personal favorites is Kraven's Last Hunt, which has one of perhaps my all-time favorite Spider-Man cover from the Web of Spider-Man series, where Spider-Man's coming out of the rising up from the grave in the black suit. You know what I'm talking about. That has got to be my favorite Spider-Man cover ever. Just awesome. Look at stories like Maximum Carnage, the debut of Venom. Venom debuts in The Amazing Spider-Man. He goes after MJ first to get Spider-Man out of hiding, so to speak, and they end up having their big tussles. Very good stuff. Not to mention McFarlane's run. I thought McFarlane drew Mary Jane very nicely done. Very nicely. Some stories, though, were boring as shit. Don't even get me started on the Clone Saga. Let's not even talk about that. But running short on time, so we got to hurry this along. But in all essence, was the marriage a mistake? Sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't. I didn't have a problem with the marriage. I never really did. I mean, sure, there was the whole pregnancy thing with the damn Clone Saga, which was pathetic writing. I'm sorry. Then I love seeing Peter Parker as a dad, but the Clone Saga was just poor, just piss poor writing. I loved it when MJ beat the hell out of the Chameleon. She shocked the Green Goblin. MJ was a character that was fine. I didn't have any problems with them being married, and I still don't to this day. That's why I buy Amazing Spider-Man Family. That's why I continue to buy Amazing Spider-Girl. I don't mind Peter Parker having a family. I thought that's what the character was created for, to be a good example to anybody who wants to start a family and live a good life of good responsibility. I thought that's what the character of Peter Parker was made for. But apparently now, the character of Peter Parker is to, if you're having problems with your marriage, don't get a divorce. Just make a deal with the devil and make sure your marriage never fucking happened. If they wanted to end the marriage, I would gladly read a story about them getting a divorce. That'd be great. The realism would still be there. So, in essence, did I have a problem with the marriage? So, not really, but it just happened at the wrong time. They should have held it off for another year before they got married. Then maybe we would still be reading Amazing Spider-Man with Peter and Mary Jane married. The marriage was not a mistake. That's just my opinion, but it was a good run. Maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. But hopefully the continuity will be restored to where it was, and Peter could keep his identity. But as far as Spider-Man right now, the continuity is seriously fucked. I'm sorry. So that's my opinion on the Spider marriage. So if you agree or if you disagree, please post a comment and let me know what you think. Give me 5 stars while you're at it. Who knows? Well, that's all I got for right now. So until my next video, this is Blue Goblin saying, I'll see you later.